Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. As you're coming in, please tell us where you're from. The chat is open to everyone. We'd love to hear from you. Amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. First off, I want to say thank you so much for being here today and welcome to Insure Fitness Group's webinar series. I'm Shannon, the Business Development Manager at IFG, and I'm super excited to be co-hosting today. For those unfamiliar with Insure Fitness Group, we're a comprehensive liability insurance provider for fitness professionals across the U.S. We offer coverage for personal trainers and various other fitness modalities. In addition to insurance, we provide exclusive member benefits like discounts, continuing education, and more. These can be accessed via our member portal. To learn more, visit insurefitness.com. Just a few housekeeping tips. A quick reminder, today's webinar will be 1 hour and is being recorded. The recording will be emailed to everyone by tomorrow. Feel free to ask questions through the chat or question feature, and we'll be monitoring them. We'll also have a 10-minute Q&A at the end of the webinar. With that, we're excited to welcome our guest, Reonna Smiley. The topic of today's webinar is fitness coaching, how to break into the online space. We're excited to welcome Reonna Smiley to the Insure Fitness Group webinar series. Reonna is a fitness coach, partnerships manager at TrueCoach, and a passionate fitness enthusiast. With a degree in exercise science, she has been coaching for 5 years. Her entrepreneurial spirit and dedication to helping others discover wellness gives her valuable insight into both the challenges and rewards of growing a fitness coaching business. Please welcome Reonna, and thank you for tuning in to the Insure Fitness Group webinar series.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Shannon, for that intro. I am super excited to be here. It is a topic that I am super, passionate about. So I am very excited to kind of, break into this with you guys. I do want to know, kind of who I'm talking to in this audience. So if you guys just want to kind of, add in the chat, are you a current fitness coach? And if you are you online strictly already? Are you a hybrid coach? So you kind of do like online and in-person training, or are you strictly just in person? And, if you are not, a coach, at all, that's also fine, but just keep me posted. I also want to make sure that everyone can see my screen where it says the title Fitness Coaching Breaking In to the Online Space. So making sure everyone has access to this. All right, so I'm looking in the chat. Perfect. Thank you, Shannon. Okay, so Pilates coach in person, but want to transition, mainly in person at a studio, hybrid, in person, hybrid. Awesome, cool. So we have a little bit of both, which is exciting, but we are here today to talk about how to break into the online fitness space. So let's get into it. I know Shannon gave me a brief, sort of intro, but just to go back into it, my name is Reonna Smiley. Again, I work for TrueCoach as a partnerships manager, but first and foremost, and even before that, I am a fitness coach through and through. I started my own fitness journey about, 10 to 11 years ago. I feel like that's how most of us kind of start out in fitness. It's like, oh, I have my own, anecdotal story of how fitness has helped me. And now I want to help others. I'm sure, most of you can relate to that. I have my exercise science degree. I had a meal prep after college. I've been a trainer for like 5-6 years at this point, so pretty well into the fitness space. But I fully transitioned into online coaching specifically in 2022. So before this, I was an in-person coach. I know what that's like. I worked at a gym. I had those early 5 a.m., 5:30 clients, and also those 5 p.m., 6 p.m. clients. So I know what the gym space is like, and I know, what that transition to online has personally helped me with. So let's jump into sort of this today's agenda just to give you an overview. So we're going to go into why online coaching, right? Like, I'm here to convince you to join online coaching, but let's give you some concrete reasons why. why the opportunity for online coaching is so huge right now, especially how to get started, how to maximize your business success, which I'm most excited about. A live demo with TrueCoach, so kind of help you get into that, what it would actually look like when you're going to online fitness. We do have a special offer for you guys at the end, so definitely stick around. And like Shannon mentioned, we will be getting into Q&A as well. So all of your questions, feel free to type in the chat as we go along, but definitely we'll reserve them for the end. So why online coaching, right? If you guys are in-person coaches, we basically, kind of know the constructs around it. So you're limited by the number of hours in a day. Most coaches can spend 8 to 10 hours training in person. With online coaching, you have no client capacity, right? You can train 50 to 100 clients and you don't have to meet with all of them every single day. So just by that alone, you kind of get to expand how many clients you're training. With in-person coaching, it's kind of, limited to your geography, right? Like unless people want to travel hours to see you, you're just that amazing of a coach. It's basically just going to be, those local clients. With online coaching, that is not the case. You can connect with clients from around the world. I currently train clients that, I've never met in person. I don't have any global clients per se, but I do have clients all around the US. And in-person coaching, I know this personally for me, where it was like, I didn't have that time and schedule flexibility that I wanted, whether it's a commute back and forth to the gym or, I'm having to be at the gym 8 hours of the day, there's just no flexibility there. With online coaching, is where, like wherever your computer is where you can train your clients. And so you can make money from anywhere and train your clients everywhere. So if that's not convincing enough, let's get into sort of these online fitness market trends. I mean, literally it speaks for itself, right? So the online fitness market in 2023 was 15 billion. It's projected to a 172 billion market as of 2032. So if you're questioning, I don't know, do I want to get into the fitness space? This should answer it for you. There is a huge demand for it. And I think it's only just getting started. So let's talk about the online coaching opportunity itself, and sort of, how we can fit into this. I know people always think, oh, it's a saturated market. That is not the case. There are, plenty of clients and enough coaches to go around for everyone to have their pick. But in that case, there's increased demand for trainers and coaches. So I'm sure all of you are on social media, on your phones, looking at the news, content, etc. There is a overall rise in health consciousness from that social influence, right? So whether people are wanting to try a juice cleanse or try this new Pilates class or, get into strength training, whatever that looks like, there's definitely a trend in people wanting to get healthier. On the same, side of the coin, there's also a rise in comorbidities, right? So heart disease, diabetes, cancer, obesity. So, these people are kind of have these underlying health issues and, their health providers are telling them, hopefully, right, you really need to make a lifestyle change. And so whether they want to or not, they're kind of being forced into this idea of, okay, I need to make a difference. And then more than ever, we have access to resources, self-education, increased autonomy. So like, I feel like now more than ever, because of all these resources, it's like, okay, I can make my own decision. And so I want to, seek out a health and fitness coach to help me on that path. There's more avenues to diversify. So it's not just, oh, here's a weight loss program, right? I mean, there are so many avenues, whether it's nutrition, rehabilitation, event and sport coaching, right? So like triathlon, decathlon, powerlifting, strength, weight loss, like there's so many avenues. So being able to not limit yourself is, our own kind of advantage that we have in this industry. And then personalized programming and courses. Like I said, it's not cookie cutter. So we kind of have an advantage to reach a different audience. Technology advancements. So again, people are being more educated, they have more resources, they're being able to track, their heart rate, their steps, etc. So because of that overall rise in education, people are wanting to take their health more seriously. There's a low barrier to entry marketing, which we will get into later. You don't have to spend, hundreds or even thousands or even $1 on marketing. You can do it for free on social media. You can make a website for relatively, next to nothing. Email marketing is free, right? So all these opportunities that we have to be able to reach people, and it's a low barrier of entry. And one of my favorites is your unlimited potential and reach. So, if you have a social account or you have an email list or a website, it's not limited to just whoever is in your bubble. You can reach, clients, potential clients like never before, which to me was the most enticing. So let's actually get into considerations for getting started with online coaching, right? That is why we're all here today, because you want these like actionable items, these step-by-steps on how you can actually get started with online coaching. And so I took this is very, anecdotal as well. Like I transitioned from in-person to online, and these are the steps that I went through. And so, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so I really want to show you guys kind of what this looks like step by step. So we're going to start with our niche or niche, depending on who you're talking to. Then we're going to go into sort of your brand and your business model overall. Then we're going to go into your target clients, your target audience, how to price yourself, super important. Marketing and promotion, also super important. And honestly, probably the most important in my eyes is the client experience. And then obviously program delivery. So we're going to get into each of these one by one. So don't be overwhelmed by this slide. You guys will all receive the recording of this webinar as well. So take notes if you want to, but you will have access to this. So let's kind of go, brick by brick here. So first, we're going to define our niche. These are all questions that I want you to consider when you are trying to define your niche. What is your coaching experience? What are you most passionate about, right? Like start where you kind of already have your educational base, your passion base. What qualifications or certifications do you have? Do you have your CSCS? Are you a group fitness instructor? Are you a Pilates instructor? Are you, are you into cardiac rehab? Whatever that looks like, kind of starting with those qualifications. And think about your, track record. A lot of you guys, like you said, are already currently in these like in-person environments. And so like what testimonials and results do you have that have given you a proven track record with this population? I think that's like really important to know. So some examples right here at the bottom, we have body weight fitness for at-home moms, functional movements, strength and conditioning, weight training. So just really finding sort of how you want to, like what avenue you want to take. Then we're going to define your brand. And honestly, this little square here does not do it justice because I do think brand is so, so, so crucial. But there's some things that I want you guys to consider. So a personal brand versus your business brand, right? And I'm sure, if you guys are already established in the PT world, it's maybe you already have that, maybe you work in a commercial gym. Maybe you are, I'll say my fitness company name is Fit by Re, right? So that's had different iterations over the years, but that's where I landed at now. It can be your first name and last name fitness or personal training. So there's no right or wrong, but just maybe getting clear on, is this a personal brand or do you want it to be just specific to a business brand? Creating an LLC. So Parker dropped that in the chat. It's a super helpful link because I know, a lot of people kind of struggle with the legality of business. And so we make it super simple for you. Check out that blog on how to create your LLC to be legitimate, right? Like this is a business. Get out of the mindset of, oh, this is my side hustle. We are trying to make this a, sustainable business. And so we need to treat it as such. Other things to consider, your logo, your brand colors, your content, right? So basically how people associate or what people associate you with when they see your logo, your brand, your content. Is it consistent? Is it positive? Is it something that they resonate with? All things to consider. And again, consistent branding across all platforms. So whether you have a website, your business cards, your social media, are you using different fonts and colors and logos across all of those? Because that's going to be really confusing to the consumer eye, right? Like you want to make sure that it is consistent branding from start to finish. Something a lot of people probably don't consider when thinking about branding is the client and prospective client communication, right? They're like, well, that's not brand. That's, me selling my service. But people associate your service with you and your brand, right? And so if you're taking 10 days to respond to clients or even, inquiries from clients, or you're not checking your email to, get back to them, like people start to associate your brand with not very prompt, right? Like, oh, they're not reliable. And so just keeping that all in mind of how you also present yourself from the full cycle of getting the client to keeping the client is also your brand. And again, I already sort of mentioned these, but there's some considerations at the bottom here. So the name of your business, your website, your Instagram page, basically how you want people to associate you with your brand. Now getting into the crux of it, right? So your client, your ideal client. I know everyone thinks, well, I'm a great trainer, I'm a great coach, I want to coach everyone. And while that may be optimistic, we want to be a little realistic. And so especially if you're just, starting out as a PT, or especially as a PT trying to branch into the online space, the more specific you can get, the better, right? Because everyone can go get, a cookie cutter program on ChatGPT these days, or YouTube, they can get workouts. Like, you want to really figure out who you are talking to so you can make sure that your messaging and your services are really tailored to that audience. So who is your ideal candidate for your niche offering? So into that, right? Like, who would benefit or is already seeking out your services? So kind of like starting to ideate this person in your mind. And this requires getting specific. So looking into demographics, age, location, their fitness level. Are you targeting, beginners, or are you targeting, intermediate? Are these super athletes? Their goals and motivations. Is it weight loss? Is it recomposition? Is it just moving their body and inconsistency? So really taking that into consideration. Their pain points, right? So is it, well, I maybe can't afford these services, or, oh, I don't have the time, I'm busy. I'm sure we've all heard that when trying to sell someone on a package. Well, I just don't have the time, right? And so just taking into those considerations as well, and then lifestyle and habits. So some examples down here that are super specific. And before I get into this, in the chat as well, if you already have a client, a defined client, or a niche client that you are currently, you're like, this is my ideal client, this is who I work with, or this is who I want to work with, I want you to go ahead and type that in the chat. So, who is your niche client? I'm very curious to see, because I do want to kind of, take a look at some of these niches that we have. Some examples. So females age 25 to 35 looking to get fit and feel confident in their wedding dress. So that's super niche, right? We have females, but we also have the age range, and we also have, they're looking to get ready in their wedding dress. They want to look good. They want to be fit for this specific reason. Men age 55 and up looking to regain mobility and flexibility to improve their daily life. Then we have, high school distance track athletes seeking improvements to their PR time. So these are extremely niche and specific. All right, so let's see, we have some in the chat here. So Rob is saying people in pain looking to get out of it. I like that, but let's dig deeper, right? So instead of people, are we, who do we start with? Is it men? Is it women? What's their age range? What sort of pain? Is it back pain, knee pain, shoulder pain, right? Michelle is saying older females with back and joint pain. That's, pretty specific. But let's define older, right? Is older 45 plus? Is older 65 plus, right? So just like getting really specific on who we're actually talking to. Hugh saying 50 plus men and women. I like that, Hugh. But what are their goals, right? Like age 50 plus men and women, what are they hoping to achieve? Is it weight loss? Is it, gaining confidence in the gym? Emily Johnson is saying stay-at-home moms. That's super great. What are they looking to achieve, Emily? Like, are they on a time crunch and they need, 35-minute or less, at-home workouts? Like, what is their kind of specificity there? Michael is saying individuals with health conditions, so diabetes, CVD, older age, excess weight. Yeah, that's super cool. And, pretty specific there. Dara is saying older women, 40 plus, who are beginners or moderately in shape. I love that. Bingo. That's so good. I can picture the woman. I can picture, their demographics, their fitness level, their goals, their pain points. Nicole is saying, working to nail this down. I'm leading towards young professionals looking to become more competent in their movement patterns and build strength. Incredible. Let's put an age on that, right? So young professionals, is that, 25 to 35? But the rest of that is great. And I'll go through these last three and then we'll keep it moving. Linda is saying females over the age of 45 looking to improve their overall fitness level. Yeah, I like that. Female, we have over the age of 45, and we have their goal. They want to just improve their fitness, right? Feel good in their body. Emily is saying busy people who are beginners. I love that, but let's tailor it even more niche. Busy people, is it men? Is it women? Is there an age there that we can actually target? Because again, when we're putting out this messaging on our websites, on our socials, who are we talking to? And then Valerie would like to get into functional fitness and mobility to live more active lifestyles. I love that. That is super, I feel like relevant these days for sure. People just want to feel fit and active lifestyles. So these are all incredible. Thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing those. So let's keep it going. So here is a fun slide. And I say that half jokingly, just because I know from personal experience, from talking to other coaches, that pricing is probably one of the factors that usually holds people back from starting or jumping out there. And so I don't want you guys to put your prices in the chat, but I would love you to kind of say like thumbs up or thumbs down. Has pricing ever been an issue for you, when thinking about your business? Is it something that has stressed you out, or are you like, nah, I got this, I know my worth? So things that I want you to consider with pricing and packaging. I don't have any specific numbers up here for obvious reasons. Everyone's services and experience are very different, but when you're considering your pricing, this is what I want you to think about. So your experience, how many years of experience do you have, right? Are you a veteran or an experienced coach? Are you, just kind of starting out and looking to get into the fitness space? Like if you're 10 plus years in, you have more leverage to be able to charge more because of your experience, right? People are paying you for your coaching experience. And then also, so qualifications and education, right? So what certifications do you have? Did you go to school? Are you a certified PT? Do you have, CPR? All of these things really take into account, and it's nothing necessarily you need to flash in front of your clients like a golden badge, but it's definitely for you to know that I am actually qualified and I can charge accordingly. Because there are people that aren't qualified and still think they can charge a pretty penny. So definitely know your worth here. Services offered. So what are you selling? How is it structured? So giving effort to your pricing model. Is it subscription based on a month to month? Are you doing one-time program purchases, right? That makes a difference. For a lot of my people too, because a lot of you guys are in-person training, coming from experience, I know, typically it's average anywhere from maybe $45 to $75 an hour on average for in-person training. I will say that, online structure is a little different because you're not meeting with them in person. You're not actually clocking specific hours. And so, maybe doing it on like a monthly basis of, a monthly package instead of hourly. So definitely something to think about. And then your target audience. So who's going to be purchasing your services? Does your pricing make sense for your target audience? If you are targeting 22 to 27-year-olds who are new to the gym and looking to get into fitness, they probably can't necessarily afford a higher ticket item versus, a white collar 45-plus-year-old professional, right? So just taking that into consideration. And Parker also very helpfully added a blog in the chat as well. That's about maximizing your online earnings and pricing yourself for your worth. So definitely check that out. There's a lot of goodies in there. Next, we have marketing and promotion. So this is the crux of your business success for a couple of reasons. Obviously people need to know you exist, for one. And two, once you get these clients, their experience with you will market itself, right? So whether it was a good or bad experience, it's definitely important to note that they will be sort of your, continuing promotion throughout. So let's take a look into different ways you can market and promote your personal training business. So we have social media. And this is sort of higher level. I'll get into a few different strategies later, but creating a social media strategy. So it doesn't have to be super, thought out, but something as simple as, I plan to post every day for the next month, right? I want to post a story, 2 stories every day for the next 30 days, whatever that looks like, just kind of holding yourself accountable to a plan. Consistent posting, again, if you post once a month and then you ghost for 6 months and then you come back, like people aren't going to really see that as reliable. And so just making your presence really consistent. Prompt responses. If you have, people DMing you about your services, if you get people commenting under your posts, replying to your stories, don't ignore them, right? These are potential clients. And even if they don't purchase something right then and there, it doesn't mean that they aren't going to remember the interaction with you and think a month from now, wait, I really need a trainer. I remember that one time I reached out to her and she was super kind. Let me reach out again, inquiring about her services, right? So just making sure to really keep that communication prompt, and then engage with your audience. Same thing there. It's as simple as just talking with the people that are on your social media, which I'm sure are your friends to begin with. So let's go into word of mouth and referral. This is the best way to organically grow. So if you provide a great service, it will speak for itself. You've created a solid business, service, etc., when you basically don't have to market anymore yourself. Your clients do it for you, right? You start getting referrals. You're like, oh, so-and-so told me about your business, or so-and-so told me about your training. I'm interested, right? Like that's when you know that you have sort of a golden egg there that people are willing to, to promote it for you. Incentivize referrals. So this is a great, way to encourage your clients to send you more people. Hey, if for every client you send me, I'll give you $10 off your next package. And so that's kind of twofold. They're sending you people, sending you leads. And then also they are, you're kind of keeping them in the ecosystem, because it's like, well, yeah, I'll give you $10 the next time you sign up with me. So obviously they're going to want to use, take advantage of that deal. So it works both ways. Another way to market and promote yourself and your business: email and website. You don't necessarily have to have a website, but I think having a landing page of some sorts where people can get information, it just makes it more legitimate, right? What's the first thing we do when we hear about someone's business or someone's name? We Google it, right? We're in 2024. We are going to use the access that we have of the internet. And so if you can have a website where, people can really find your business legitimate, I think that only helps. But again, making sure it's clean, professional, and really just like answers, any questions that potential clients could be seeking out. Your website is your brand. Again, so making sure it translates. That's thinking about logo, colors, fonts. Is everything legible? Is it organized? That makes a big difference. And then building a quality email list. So this might, take a little bit of time. This may not be everyone's first step, but it is a great step to have along the way. Making sure that people actually provide an opt-in into this email list is important, so you're not just spamming people. And, also creating value, maybe using this as like a biweekly or a monthly newsletter, just kind of nurturing these people at all times and, letting them know, like giving them tips and tricks along the way. And then maybe that third email is, oh, a special deal that you're running for your training, right? So make sure to not take advantage of this email list, make sure you're creating value, and then, you can add that offer in at some point. So these are ways, especially kind of, social media focused, that you can promote your services for free. And I say this because these are ways that I actually, get clients, get leads, get, people interested, get people in my ecosystem, that I think that is really worth trying. So a few options here. The first one is running challenges. 30-day challenge, 30-day fitness challenge. I'm doing one right now for my clients for September, a 30-day body weight challenge, no equipment needed, super easy lift. There are different challenges you can do, maybe a summer, ab challenge or whatever. You guys can be creative, but I do think running challenges is a quick and easy way to get people interested without them feeling like they're having to fully sign up for the, your entire package offer. And it's going to be expensive and I don't know what I'm getting myself into. Like, kind of let them get their feet wet a little bit. Speaking of getting your feet wet, free trial access. Let people try it for free. Don't be afraid to give things away for free. One, because it creates a good rapport with those clients. They're like, wow, they really gave me this awesome service for free. Like, that's incredible of them. And two, if it's that good, they will eventually pay for it. So there's no reason to not give it away for free, whether it's 7 days, whether you're doing, a 4-week free trial access, whatever that looks like, letting people get a taste of your coaching style, your programming, your communication cadence, all of those things that makes your business unique to you, let them get a taste of it. Complimentary consultation. I do this for all of my virtual and online clients because I don't meet with them in person. And so I think either, doing some sort of Zoom, or I, usually just call them once they kind of set this up. It's so important in creating that rapport, because the chances of someone just going to your website and just cold, purchasing a program is less likely than if they actually get to talk to you. They get to humanize you. They, you ask about their goals. They're able to ask you questions in real time. You're able to give feedback. Like, it just creates that initial rapport, which I promise you is 10 times easier trying to, kind of close that sale, as opposed to just, hoping that they go to your website and purchase a program. So complimentary consultation, I run mine through Calendly. It's a super easy and free platform. They can just schedule their own, calendar time with you. It's on both of your calendars, easy peasy. And then another one here that I think is definitely worth noting is affiliate marketing. And so to explain this a little further, what I did personally was I reached out to about 3 to 5, females that I knew via Instagram, social media, through other communities, where I'm like, hey, I see you're killing it on your fitness journey. I would love to offer you 3 months of free training in exchange for a weekly, social media, Instagram story. Right? Low lift on my end, low lift on their end. I am doing it for free, but in exchange, they're marketing me for free. They would post once a week on their story, tagging me, telling their audience, what they were doing. And I got a lot of paid clients that way. And so make sure to use your resources, right? Be willing to give things away for free, because I promise that return will be definitely worth your while. Actually, I want to ask any questions. Has anyone run anything like this? Have you guys ever done any challenges? Do you guys offer like consultations? I know you guys are mostly in person right now, but have any of you had any experience with something like this? Just, drop it in the chat. But no, helpful, awesome. Yeah, very cool. So again, things that we don't even think about, but because you're wanting to transition into online, definitely things worth thinking about. Okay, this is a hefty slide, but again, like I said earlier, I do think it is most important, because without your clients, you don't have a business. And so kind of thinking about this client life cycle and their experience with you from start to finish is the most important. So the first part of this is awareness. It's not often that people just see you the first time, they're like, perfect, I'm going to purchase, right? It's like, okay, they get to, see your brand a little bit. They're, piquing their interest. They get to see kind of what your offering is. And so that's this level of awareness, whether they see your social media stories, or, they kind of hear about you through the grapevine of another friend who's training with you. And so this is like the first initial part of the client experience. And this may be even before you get to speak to them, right? So you may not even know them at this point, but this is their first interaction with your brand. And then we have this level of acquisition. So actually getting the client. This is where you get some complimentary consultation at no cost. We're going to talk about your goals, how we can achieve them. And then you kind of lead with and here's, my solution to your goals, right? Which brings us into the onboarding. I think this is so, so, so important as setting expectations up front, because in my early days, I did not do this. And I had clients texting me and calling me at all hours of the night, it gets a little chaotic. And so really setting the expectations up front in a professional manner will save your energy on the back end, I promise, because it is all through your phone, right? And we know that can get overwhelming at times, which is why having it all in one app makes it so much easier. But setting expectations of communication, we'll do daily check-ins on the app, feedback. We can have weekly check-in calls or monthly check-in calls. Maybe even giving yourself that, like, I'm only gonna answer messages from 9 to 7, and then I'm done, and then you go to the next day. So setting expectations for your clients of communication, programming, and continued goal setting. And then we have the actual active coaching, which is the delivery and programming of your services, right? So this is like the actual part of like when you are coaching your clients. They've already, sold them the package, they're paying, you are programming for them. These two, I think, are probably the most important because it doesn't just end here. I feel like people think, okay, I have a client, cool, I can wash my hands of that. I have them. I don't need to do anything to keep them. And that is not the case. You are consistently proving to your client why you are of value to them. And so that's where these come in. So evaluation and adjustment. So adjusting programming based on your client's goals and feedback. It's not just here's a program, one and done, and we're never going to make any iterations. It's giving that feedback, having your client, add their results into the app, and you're able to kind of see where they're at, and, iterating, moving forward. So I think they appreciate it because they know, like, oh, they really care about my goals and they're not just trying to send me programs and be done with me. It definitely helps with that trust, that coach client trust. And then retention and renewal. So prioritizing prompt communication and feedback. Again, it goes both ways. It's hard to, talk to your client if they're not talking back. But again, setting those expectations up front of communication. Hey, I need you to be able to fill in XYZ so I can give feedback on this and we can move forward. And then also make sure you're promptly, reaching back out to them. If they have a question, don't wait 2 days to respond, right? Like make sure you're providing prompt feedback and communication. Progress pictures and goal tracking. I always encourage my clients to take progress pictures. It's never mandatory. I say, you don't even have to send them to me, but being able to have that as a reference, again, to look back at after 4 months of training, and it helps them realize like, wow, this really is working for me. I'm glad that I'm continuing to do this because even though it feels like I'm in a rut and nothing's changing, I have this progress picture to look back on and say, okay, this really is making a difference. And then again, continued check-ins and consultations. So it's just the same thing there of just continually checking in, making sure that you guys are on the right track, that they're, feeling okay. Just make them feel like a priority. That's all they want, is to feel like a priority. So program delivery. So this is essentially how TrueCoach can optimize your program delivery and client experience. I'm curious if you guys want to put in the chat. I'm sorry to make you be so active, but I'm curious to know how you guys are currently delivering or writing any kind of programming. Do you just kind of, wing it when you go into these sessions? Do you work for a gym that does the programming for you? Do you keep track of, programming and your client's progress in a spreadsheet, in a Google Doc? Are you guys, texting back and forth? What does that look like for you? How are you guys like currently delivering your clients' programming, whether it's hybrid or in person? I'm definitely curious, but we're going to kind of talk about a few of these features here. So the program workout builder, how to manage your clients effectively, which is, a lot of online coaching is the admin side of things. And so wanting to make sure that you are really leaning into that and being able to streamline those processes as much as possible. The exercise demo video library, again, because it is all virtual, you're not with your client there necessarily in person. And it's like making sure that they have access to the right tools so they can perform the exercises specifically. Habit tracking, wearables, and mobile app access. So all of these things are offered within TrueCoach, which can make your life much easier. So we have some responses in the chat. I use Coach RX for my personal clients and then gym programming for my group classes. Hugh is using Google Docs. Nicole has her own app that they can access their workouts, very savvy. Karan is in person, they're taking notes on clients. So like physical notes, Karan, is that what you're doing? Just writing down physical notes or notes in your phone? Michelle, okay, nice. Thank you for confirming. Michelle is saying I program weeks at a time, so taking notes during sessions, but this method takes way too much time. And if I lose my notebook, I'm screwed, right? Yeah, so it is very tedious. It is very, manual to have to write everything down. And it kind of takes you out of the moment of training with your client, right? You can be so focused on making sure you write everything that you're not necessarily present with them at all times. Lena, yes, wearables are, Fitbit, Apple Watch or a Ring, etc. Okay, so let's get into the good stuff. I'm going to show you guys essentially what TrueCoach looks like, how you can use it. I'm actually going to be really vulnerable and show you my real account. So just kind of like getting an idea of what things look like, right? So you come in and this is your coach dashboard. Okay. So, it's good afternoon. This is like my logo that I have here. This is where all of my most recent clients exercises and workouts and all of their comments are. You have over here on this side your clients, your library, programs, payments, etc., messaging, notifications, and then compliance rates. So we're going to start from the very basics of onboarding, right? So let's say you get a new client. It could not be easier. You're going to add, let's do Jane Smith, first name, last name, and this is a made up email, but it might be a real email that Jane might be getting an invite to. And you have this option here, which I think is really worth pointing out, the type of client that they are. So whether it's remote, dual, or in-person. In-person clients, they won't have access to TrueCoach. You basically just program for them and you kind of harbor their programming. But with remote and dual, you have access obviously on your end, and your clients get app access to be able to access their programming. So I'm going to add Jane as a client. Awesome. Let's start coaching Jane. So this is what the client's calendar looks like, right? A little more organized than your typical spreadsheet or Google Doc, because everything is already laid out for you. It's super intuitive and just easy to program. So I want to go through this a little bit. This is kind of the client portal, and this is individual for each client. So this is your chat history, if you have any. Our habit tracker, which is a new feature here to be able to track, things other than just, their exercise, because as we know, fitness is an all-encompassing, sort of effort. We have their goals that you can keep track of. We can jump into, nutrition. We have a MyFitnessPal integration here, so you can like specifically, program how many grams of carbs you want them to eat, protein, fats, etc. Right? And then we also have, notes, planning, progress pictures, equipment, etc. So everything that you need to access for a client will be all right here in your sort of client portal per se. All right, so let's go to, we're going to go back to Jane's workout calendar. So we can, let me go back here, back to Jane's workout calendar. So we can start programming for her. Cool. So it's as simple as hitting the plus button. And then, you can name their workout. So today's heavy leg day, or however you would like to name it. So the demo library, which is something that I really want to kind of lean on, because like I said, you're not necessarily with your clients in person when they are being coached. And so I think being able to, monitor their movements, make sure that they have access to perform their movements correctly is super important. And so we have a really incredible, vast demo library with about, I think, 4,000 plus videos that you can attach to these. so your clients know how to perform these videos. So they don't have to go and YouTube something or, exit out of the app and go try to figure it out. It is all in-house, essentially. It all lives here. So yeah, this is what the programming looks like. You can continue to add exercises. This is where I add typically all of the instructions. So perform 3 sets for 12 reps, etc. So I know that looks super simple, but I can show you what sort of a real client calendar would look like, kind of all built out, so you can get sort of the picture there. Right, so things are green, they're checked off. I have them kind of add in, their if they have a Fitbit or an Apple Watch, kind of add like the screenshot of their activity. So again, just an added layer of accountability. I can go in there and see, okay, awesome deadlifts, they checked it off, awesome. And then you can go in here and comment and say, great job, etc. Right, so there's that really like level of communication, client coach communication, that is super helpful. That makes them, one, feel seen, because you're not with them in person. So it's like, okay, my coach is here, they're checking my programming, they're checking in on me, like I feel confident in what I'm doing. And then I did want to show you sort of this program builder. Mine is not the most organized at the moment, but this is a great function because there's no point in having to reinvent the wheel every time. So as you can see, I have a plethora of different programs that I have created over time that really just kind of like act as a template. And so instead of having to reinvent the wheel every single time, you have a template, and then you can kind of work off of that and modify and personalize as you go, which is super cool. So you don't have to duplicate work. This is already built out. This is all work that I did once. I don't have to do again, but then I can just kind of use this and iterate as I go along. That was a lot of thrown at you at once. I know it's a software, so it seems overwhelming, but it is super intuitive and easy to use. And with that, we did want to give everyone a special offer, right? So we don't want to just say, oh, here's, TrueCoach, go and try it on your own. We want to, kind of make this a low barrier of entry for you as well to be able to try it. And so for this special offer, if you use code webinar1MO at checkout, you get a 14-day free trial and $1 for your first month. So literally only $1 for 1 month. You can get in there at, with essentially no risk because it's $1. You can check it out. You can add clients. Oh, honestly, that is one more thing I wanted to show you guys really quickly, because I do think it's important. So sorry, is if you add yourself as a client, which I already have in here, and oh, it's not letting me. I lied. I wanted to show you guys the client side of things. But if you add yourself as a client in here, you will be able to go in and see the client side of things. And so you can get a client perspective on things. Let me see if I can add myself really quickly, actually. Okay, perfect. Cool. So this is what it looks like from the client side. Obviously, this is in a web browser and not on the app, but this is essentially the client's view. So they can see their workouts all laid out. I have rest days prescribed. They can click on their workout and say, okay, this is what I'm doing today. Here, I always do extensive warm-ups for my clients. So here's all the warm-up videos. I forgot how to do a narrow stance leg press. I can click on this video. It shows me how to do it. I can type in my results here, etc. Right? So it's cool to be able to see the client's point of view as well as you're kind of progressing as an online coach. And then you can switch back to your coach view. So it's a nice little back and forth. I'm going to go ahead and put this up one more time for this offer. And now it's question time. I know that was a lot of information in essentially 50 minutes, but I am happy to answer any questions that I can. If we're unable to get to the questions, I am also happy to, provide my email so you guys can follow up with any questions that you might have. Welcome back, Shannon.
Hello. Excellent, excellent presentation. Amazing information. Super excited to email that out to everyone as well. Oh, amazing. We have a couple questions. First from Hugh. Do you have home workout videos?
In the TrueCoach app, Hugh, is that what you're asking about? Um, if so, the answer is, yes, we have body weight workouts, we have, dumbbells, things that you can do at home. There's also a cool feature that I forgot to mention where you can upload your own demo videos into TrueCoach. So even if you don't want to use any of our, 4,000 or 5,000 videos, I've uploaded a few movements of my own that you can attach to clients' workouts to make it really personalized and to make sure that you know, your clients are doing the movement correctly if you want to talk them through it or whatever it looks like. So there's a lot of flexibility there for sure.
Awesome. From Emily, are there any certifications or degrees out there that can help me stand out from everyone else online?
Honestly, Emily, it kind of depends on what your niche is and what, client base you're looking for. I would say, as far as education, I got my exercise science degree, but I don't think everyone needs to do that. I wouldn't go back and get it per se when there are so many certifications that are available out there. Just your generic personal training certification, I think is so important to have as far as credibility is concerned. And then you can kind of break it down, depending on what your niche is. Are you in strength and conditioning? In that sense, you can get your CSCS. Do you want to add nutrition into your offerings? And you can get your nutrition certification. And so I think just being able to really dial in what your offering is and making sure that your certifications can back that. I hope that helps.
Awesome. From Nicole, the app looks great. Just wondering about your challenges. Do you give out prizes or is it just a challenge for themselves?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, again, the challenges are just something that I do and I put on for my clients. It depends on the challenge. So for some of them, I like to give an incentive. I think for the one I'm currently running, the top 3 kind of performers of this challenge will win 3 months free of training. And so that's a pretty, nice incentive. I ran a challenge last year where I gave the winner $100, right? So it's nice to have an incentive for sure, but it's not necessary. So I think it just depends on your audience and what you think will entice them to sign up. But I think most people are competitive. And so if you can kind of throw an edge in there, I think it'll definitely help.
Perfect. And then last question that we have so far from Hugh, can we upload our logos on the app?
Yes, you can. So we actually just launched a custom branding feature that allows you to add, specific coloring, apps, etc. So people or logos, so people are able to kind of associate your brand with your training.
Amazing. Looks like that is all for questions. I really thank you for your time today, Reonna. Again, we're going to be sending out an email with the offer from TrueCoach with the recording, and we'll include your email as well. So registrants can reach out to you directly if they have any further questions.
Yes, that is perfect. Yeah, definitely don't hesitate to reach out. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining and coming out. And thank you, Shannon, and Insure Fitness Group for hosting me. I appreciate it.
Amazing. Thank you so much, everyone.
All right. Bye, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.